Today we're doing something a little bit scary. Well, maybe it's not scary. We're diving into the deep end of the comments section. Now, I always say on our videos, leave us a comment, tell us where you're watching from, and then I don't really see the comments because I'm not a YouTuber, I'm a real estate agent.
I'm not a rapper.
We film these videos like once a week, and then the rest of the time I'm out working with clients, showing properties, getting listings ready, going to signings, yada, yada, yada. But we decided to go ahead and look into the comments section, and it's a little bit like, ouch. But at the same time, there's some really good comments that are relevant and deserve to be commented back to. So here we go. Starting with number one, there was a comment on our what $1.5 million gets you in Hawaii that I've seen before, and this one was from Fred Sullivan, and it says, absolutely nuts, 1.5 mil for that? That house is more like 300,000 in the Midwest. To hell with that water and weather. So this is a comment that we get often about comparing Hawaii homes to those that are in the Midwest or in Texas. And okay, I grew up in Missouri, so I feel like I have like a real reference for what it's like to live in Missouri and live in Hawaii. And yes, you get a lot of house in Missouri and elsewhere, and here maybe not so much. But here's the difference. When I'm taking clients through homes, it's very rare that they're saying things like, oh my God, these countertops are amazing. Look at the cabinets. It's more like, oh my gosh, those mountains are so amazing. And how far are we from the beach? And is the weather really like this every single day? You know, in Missouri, I've said it on other videos, we've got this series called Living in Hawaii, and I'll talk about like snakes and mountain lions and, you know, animals that you have to be afraid of. Here in Hawaii, we don't have that. We've got sharks, but they're in the ocean. You don't have snakes, you don't have mountain lions, you'll hear a rooster crowing every now and then. Some of the people can be scary, but they're scary everywhere. But anyway, I thought that that was an interesting comment, and it was just also a great way to say who we are. Koa and I are actually both from Missouri. My mom is from Hawaii. I was born there in Missouri, came here when I was little, lived in Wahiawa, lived in Mililani, moved back to Missouri, came back here for high school in Missouri, came back here right out of high school. Hawaii was just always where I wanted to be. Hawaii is where all of my family is from. Koa feels the same way. And so part of us doing this YouTube channel was to be able to relate to people that are dreaming about moving to Hawaii and comparing and contrasting, and we feel like we can really relate to both places very well. Number two, we get a lot of comments about affordable housing. Now, we've touched on it in a lot of our videos, especially the new construction videos, but we had a podcast that was dedicated strictly to affordable housing with one of our new friends, Sterling Higa. And he's somebody that's in his early 30s and really just had a lot of insightful things to say.
Does affordable housing have a branding problem?
Yes. And the issue is this. Affordable for whom?
And another thing on the affordable housing subject, and I'm gonna use my phone to just read some of the stats. We've got a blog at dwellhawaii.com that Koa did an amazing job writing, and it talks about the people that are actually buying in Hawaii. And there's this sentiment that it's only people from the mainland, it's only people from foreign countries, but the stats actually say otherwise. And again, you can refer to the blog for this, but I'll just read off a few of them. 75% of sales in residential real estate in 2024 were Hawaii residents. 23% came from the continent or the mainland, and then about 2% were foreign. Almost half of all of the sales that came from the continental US were from California. So this is often why we experience that Californians don't really have the sticker shock that a lot of people have, like when they come from the Midwest, for example. They'll say that $1.5 million house is $250,000 in Missouri, but that $1.5 million house here might be $1.7 million in California. So anyway, if you'd like to learn more about affordable housing, refer to that great podcast we did with Sterling Higa. Jump into the comment section if you dare. There's a lot of really interesting conversation going on there as well. By the way, thank you so much for engaging with us in our YouTube community and in the comment section. I know I often ask where you're watching from, and I genuinely love to see where people are watching from. I know our local people don't say it that often, but I find out when I go to like Safeway. I remember I had a checkout guy that was like, oh, my son loves your YouTube channel. I'm like, how old's your son? He's like 5. I'm like, why does he watch it? He's like, I don't know. I thought that was really cool though. And I mean, hey, there's like worse things for 5-year-olds to be watching. But luckily 5-year-olds aren't gonna jump into the comment section because some of the comments in there are a little rough. And when I ask for people to leave comments, the hope is that there's thoughtful conversation going on in there, that it's ethical, that nobody's being racist, that nobody's using profanity and things like that. Please leave us comments even now. I would love to know why you watch this YouTube channel. Do you watch it on your television at home? Are you watching it from your phone, on your iPad when you're laying in bed at night? Are you watching it because you're getting ready to take a trip out to Hawaii and you want to get to know the lay of the land a little bit more, or the culture or the people before you get here? I know I do that. When I go on a vacation to a new place, I often pull it up on YouTube, and it's a part of the vacation. I start to anticipate it because I've already watched like all the good eating places and which river I want to float down and things like that. So we'd love to hear those things from you right now. Number 3, this is one I see often. You don't speak Pidgin, or it'll say, oh, you can tell she's not from here because she doesn't even speak Pidgin. Okay. Growing up, my mom had Hawaiian music playing in our household. She had comedian Replinger. He's super funny. I don't even know how to say his name, but he would crack us up. My dad was stationed out here in the Army when my mom and him met. So my dad really enjoyed Hawaiian music as well, and he enjoyed the comedy. So we definitely had Pidgin in my household, but it would be kind of weird for me to speak Pidgin with my friends on the street who had more of like Midwest accents. Now, when I moved here and was around all of my cousins, of course I wanted to speak Pidgin, but I sounded ridiculous. Have you seen the movie North Shore?
Bruh, it restarts just about here, and it stretches all the way down to there.
Kind of ridiculous. But anyway, I sounded like that when I was little. And then as I got into my teenage years, the Pidgin started to flow and come out. And then I moved back to the mainland, and kids started making fun of me because I had a funny accent. So I've kind of learned to turn it on and off. My husband speaks really good Pidgin, and I can speak it with him. But the funny thing is that somebody wrote in the comment section, you can tell she's not from here, she doesn't speak Pidgin. And then somebody wrote back to the guy and said, oh, what? Does she have to talk like a moke from Waianae to prove that she's from here? And I was like, yeah, I loved it. So all that to say, I think if I were to turn the Pidgin on, I would get a lot of flack for it. But I can turn it on in the right situation. And I pride myself on it because I feel like I can relate to people from here, and I can relate to people from the mainland as well. Heat, wind, and humidity. In our What Sucks About Living in Hawaii video, I talked about this quite a bit, but it's also very windy. The hair goes crazy. It rains a lot more than you think it does. And I realized that I sounded like a real complainer. And then I've been kind of smacked on the head by it because other people from like Florida will comment like, it is not hot in Hawaii and you don't know what humidity is. So I looked it up today. Humidity in Hawaii is considered high. It can run like between 65 to 75%. However, our temperatures typically don't get over 90. Usually like the high will be 85, 87 degrees, but we've got these trade winds that typically blow 15 to 25 miles an hour from east to west. And we call that like nature's AC. So that's really what keeps the humidity at bay. It's not as bad as I portrayed it. There are days that the trade winds turn off and it kind of sucks. Except for when Yasu and I are out filming videos and my hair is blowing in my face and we're sweating getting in and out of the car. I don't know, maybe that's why I inserted that into the video, but living in Hawaii in our heat and wind and humidity is actually a dream. A lot of homes don't even have AC. That's why you've got jalousie windows in a lot of places because the wind is like welcome, And I do love being able to talk about what homes are positioned in the right way to catch the trade winds or to catch like the cross breezes, as we would say. So yeah, wind isn't a bad thing at all.
Out of
Okay, number 5, I have Out of the Mouth of Babes. So Yasu, you're from Japan originally, but you're also from the Midwest. Yes. You were raised in the Midwest. So I say things sometimes and he's like, what does that mean? So I have this point titled Out of the Mouth of Babes. So in the What Sucks About Living in Hawaii video, we were trying to interview people on the street. And the funny thing is that not everybody wants to be on camera. Like I feel, it looks easy. Like when you see other people come on camera and I point the microphone in their face, like it just looks like that's what everybody wants to do. But actually those were like 3 people out of like 10. So the other 7 were like, no, get away from me. But the kids, that was a lot of fun because they were like jumping off the wall. And I remember there was a kid that like lifted up his shirt and showed his belly. And you know, we just thought that that would be really fun and endearing and entertaining. And sometimes it's a little bit scary interviewing kids because you don't know what they're gonna say. What is your least favorite thing about living in Hawaii? What sucks?
Tourists.
Tourists. The fucking traffic, bro.
Anyway, one of the funny things that one of the kids said was,
It has to be the high taxes.
high taxes.
The expensive houses and stuff.
Yeah, like how much money you have to spend.
Yeah, like $1 million.
And the kids were like, yeah, the taxes. And then somebody commented, you're asking kids what sucks about living in Hawaii and they're commenting on taxes. These kids don't even pay taxes. Which is 100% true, but obviously these are conversations that they're hearing being had at home, or maybe mom and dad are on the phone with somebody. And so all that to say is that it is a sentiment, it is a common thought and feeling here, but with regards to taxes, so we do have high income taxes, we do feel taxed to death on like the rail, for example, but our property taxes are actually the lowest in the nation. They're $3.50 per every $1,000 of assessed value. Now that changes if you own a home that's a second home, or if you're an investor owner, you're gonna be taxed at a different rate. But here on Oahu, one of the lowest tax rates in the country, property taxes.
You do still have to pay property taxes even if your house is paid off.
Yes, you do. You do have to pay property taxes if your house is paid off. And this is where a lot of our kupuna or our elderly homeowners can get in trouble. There's actually people out there that teach strategies of acquiring homes at pennies on the dollar when people have fallen behind on their property taxes. And I know that that sounds, what's the word? Predatory. And it's unfortunate sometimes. It's unfortunate all the time when people fall behind on their property taxes. But if you own a home that's assessed at about $1 million, you can count on about $3,500 per year, which doesn't sound like very much, but for kupuna or our elderly that are on fixed incomes that have paid off their mortgage, that don't have that mortgage payment that's just coming out every month, where they were used to the property taxes being paid with their mortgage payment, because we are an impound state. That's how taxes and insurance normally gets paid if you have a mortgage. But if you don't have a mortgage, now you're gonna get a bill twice a year, and it's your responsibility to pay that bill in full when it comes in.
Good to know.
Yeah. Okay, number 6. This is a funny one to me because several people said it. I said the word chipotle. Chipotle. That's how I say it. I don't know. How do you say it?
Chipotle.
Is it Chipotle?
Chipotle.
I know my friends in Missouri call it Chipotle.
Chipotle.
And I know that's wrong. And I remember the Jack in the Box commercial when they were like, Jack was like Chipotle, and the lady was like
Chipotle.
Chipotle. That's how I decided that I would call it Chipotle. Sue me, I'm sorry. But anyway, I've said before that I'm like upset that Chipotle is not here, and I am. I like Chipotle. I feel like we don't have like really good Mexican food here on the island, but there are some other places popping up. There's several Mexican places in Kailua. There's a new one in Hawaii Kai now. Speaking of Hawaii Kai, in our Living in Hawaii Kai video, we went to Lico's, and I was like all about how awesome Lico's is, waterfront dining. Lico's has since closed. There's nothing there. It's such a bummer, but there are other places to eat in Hawaii Kai. Heavenly is one of them that we featured in one of our videos. I think that was the Circle Island Tour video. And then I have recently come to love Kona Brewing. Is it Kona Brewing? Kona Brewing Company. For some reason, I didn't like that place as much when Lico's was around, but now that Lico's is gone, my husband and I go to Kona Brewing a lot, and I love it. It's great waterfront dining as well. In one of the videos, I said we didn't have Chick-fil-A. We have Chick-fil-A now. We have like 3 or 4 of them. One of them very controversial because it causes traffic on South Beretania. And then I think there's another one coming somewhere that they're like, how can that be? The traffic's gonna be just awful. But anyway, we have it now. Very happy about that. Number 7, Hawaii Kai versus Kailua. There's a lot of commentary on our Hawaii Kai and our Kailua videos, which is really interesting. And I don't know if it's because we do, we've done like a handful in both places. We will continue to do more videos in these neighborhoods because they are popular. But there's some big differences between Hawaii Kai and Kailua. And I know that I've kind of alluded to Hawaii Kai and Kailua being similar, but they're not necessarily. Hawaii Kai, I just had buyers that I took out yesterday and they were like, we really love Kailua, and they could really tell the difference between the two. Both of them are older communities. Both of them, you're gonna find houses and townhouses that are of older construction, but Kailua is very much more a beach town. In Kailua, you're gonna experience a lot more nature. In Maunawili, you've got the mountain backdrop. Hawaii Kai tends to be much drier. You do have a lot of water. You've got Mauna Lua Bay, you've got the marina running through Hawaii Kai, but it does have more of a master plan community feel. You've got sidewalks, you've got streets just feel very planned. I don't know, there are distinct differences, and we'll be sure to do videos in the future on those differences so that you are more equipped and more knowledgeable when you're looking at living in or moving to Hawaii. Okay, here's a fun fact about our channel, or a few fun facts rather. I think we're up to about 150 videos at the time that we're filming this one. And I'm gonna sound like the guy that does Diary of a CEO. If you watch that podcast at all, it always kind of irritates me because it's like right at the beginning of his episodes and he'll say,
this has always blown my mind a little bit. 53% of you that listen to this show regularly haven't yet subscribed to this show.
I am blown away by how many of you have yet to subscribe to my channel. And I'm blown away by how many of you have yet to subscribe to our channel. What was it, Yasu?
83%.
83% of you have yet to subscribe. So we would love for you to subscribe. That way you won't miss out on another video. Hey, you can always unsubscribe if you like, if you're like over Hawaii or if you've moved here and bought your house already. But on that note, even if you buy a house here, and like I was saying about the Safeway guy earlier, the local guy, there's local people that watch our channel, and we do love to do like entertaining videos in addition to like neighborhood videos. And I do find also that a lot of our local people enjoy like when we go into Wahiwa, like people that are like, oh, that's my hometown, or our Waianae video, which I'll talk about at the end of this video. I was surprised by how many people felt like, oh my gosh, that's my home, that's where I grew up, I love it. Or Kaneohe, or Waimanalo, or Ka'ava, for example. So anyway, I promise you that you'll still enjoy watching this channel even after you buy your house or sell your house, and we'd love for you to subscribe. Number 8, I get a lot of comments on my hair. And one recently was, Sistah, or was it auntie, or lady? I don't mind being called a Sistah, but an auntie or a lady, that's like a whole different dynamic. But anyway, auntie, stop dyeing your hair. You're not European, you're Filipino, accept it. Okay, I am part Filipino, I'm part Chinese, I am part Hawaiian, and then my dad was German, English, Caucasian. I started dyeing my hair like in my 20s. You know, we all wanted to be J-Lo because she's so beautiful and she had that beautiful like bleached out blonde hair. And then I used to surf a lot. In Hawaii, you go in the sun a lot. So I've said this in one of our living in Hawaii videos, or moving to Hawaii, or 21 things you need to know. The sun literally fades everything, including your hair. So I color my hair because it fades out so badly after years of highlighting it. But not only that, my hair's going gray, okay? So I color my hair. That's the story. And a lot of people in Hawaii color their hair. A lot of women. I would say hairstylists do very well out here because most of us have dark hair and a lot of us are going gray. And so like regular trips to the salon are necessary. Not necessarily necessary, but regular trips to the salon are common. Now, my hair blows all over the place in our videos. Crazy windy, but too, I've had people say, girl, put your hair up. I have a 5 head. So you know how you call this a 4 head? I feel like I have a 5 head. So I've just always been very self-conscious about putting my hair up. It is what it is, but anyway, not to make this all about me, I do want to say the sun fades everything and coloring your hair just, it's a thing here in Hawaii, it just is. Oh, sidebar, I get a lot of questions about my clothes. So recently I picked up a clothing sponsorship with Always A-Line, and I'm really proud of that. Always A-Line is a local clothing designer, and this is not Always A-Line today, but in a lot of my other videos I wear that. I also wear a lot of Oahu golf apparel. I love to golf, and a good friend of ours owns that brand, and actually I was wearing their clothes even before I started golfing, so. There you go. There's another brand that I love, Fighting Eel. That's another local brand. They've got a great shop in Manoa. I wore that dress in the Manoa video where we did the, Yasu, what video was it? The Beaumont Woods house, that A-frame house. So watch that video. I was wearing a yellow dress. That came from Always A-Line. But the great thing about local designers is that they make clothes with our heat and humidity in mind. Clothes that are breathable, clothes that are really easy to just like throw in the washer, air dry. You don't have to iron it. You don't have to worry about it getting wrinkled later on. I love those kinds of clothes. Free flowing and, you know, great for the island lifestyle. Number 9, we get asked about HOA fees a lot. There's a lot of homes here in Hawaii that have HOA fees. We go into communities quite often in Ho'opili, we go into Koa Ridge. Those 2 communities are master planned. You're gonna have HOA fees there. You're gonna have them in Hawaii Kai as well. Not the entire community of Hawaii Kai, but there's a lot of little townhouse communities there. People want me talking about how HOA fees go up. This year, 2025, even midway through 2024, we saw HOA fees increase dramatically. And I've said this in other videos, but this is because Hawaii is now on the map when it comes to hurricane insurance and disaster insurance, mostly because of the Lahaina fires, as well as the fires that have been happening throughout the United States and the other natural disasters. So hurricane insurance is now at a higher, it's gone to a higher rate, or there's a higher requirement per Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So if you're getting a mortgage, you are required to have higher insurance premiums, and all of those have impacted master insurance policies of different townhouse communities, of the condos. And so those that were considered underinsured had to bring their insurance up, and therefore HOA fees have gone up a lot. Now, do HOA fees continue to go up? I feel like we've kind of always said that. HOA fees, in my experience, have never gone down. I wish that that wasn't the case. Typically, they go up in line with inflation. I mean, everything that we buy pretty much increases in cost. Electricity, water, and those things are also reflected in the HOA fees. My husband cursed me the whole first year that we bought our single family home. We had come from a townhouse into a condo and then finally bought the single family. And the weekend we moved in, we had to put on a new roof. We had to put gutters on. We spent quite a bit of money doing our yard, irrigation, drainage. All of those things typically in a condo would be covered in your maintenance fees or your HOA fees. HOA fees are also something that you can typically budget for. You should budget for the increases as well. Typically, you also have a condo doc review period whenever you buy a house or whenever you buy a condo or townhome. And usually there's a reserve study in there that shows you how much those maintenance fees or HOA fees are anticipated to go up. based on the capital reserves, based on any capital expenses that are coming up. Anytime we help buyers buy condos or townhouses, we also look through those condo docs with our buyers. We do give you a little bit of guidance, but we will also guide you if you're feeling like massive trepidation towards it. We will encourage you to get a full condo doc review with a third party. Those do exist. So boring. Oh gosh. Do we help with rentals? So this is always a hard question for me to answer, but I'm just gonna say it for what it is. We are real estate agents that specialize in helping people buy and sell real estate. In Hawaii, we don't have that service like they do in other states where their leasing agents get a commission or they get paid every month. I don't even know how it works like in places like New York City, where a lot of agents make a living helping people to rent apartments. Here in Hawaii, we don't have that service. Here, the relationship between tenants and landlords are between the tenant and landlord. It's not often managed with an agent in the middle. If you've got a property manager, that property manager is also considered to be the landlord. So that relationship between you as a renter is direct with the property manager. This doesn't mean that we're not willing to, kind of like guide you and answer questions, but it's not a place that we can necessarily spend a lot of our time because we're spending so much time with clients that are looking to buy or sell. And it's also not really beneficial to you because we're not gonna be the best resource. The best place to look for rentals is actually Zillow. You can find some on Craigslist as well, apartments.com. Where do you look, Yasu?
Facebook Marketplace.
Facebook Marketplace.
That is where it is.
That's a very reliable place, isn't it?
I mean, there's scammy stuff, but you can tell pretty clearly. It's clearer than Craigslist.
Got it.
'Cause
Okay.
You can see who's posted.
Yeah, Craigslist is kind of scammy, isn't it? Okay. Number 11, I have living in Las Vegas. Why do I have that? Oh, because I had a conversation with my sister. I'm curious. I'm not judging. I'm just being curious, like how many people actually move there simply because they like it. And I felt like it was so good, and that actually started like our podcast series. I'm really proud of this channel and how it's evolved because we've got like different playlists now. We've got our moving to Hawaii playlist, we've got our living in Hawaii playlist, we've got our Circle Island tour, we've got our podcasts, which there's one that we did with Sterling Higa and then the one that we did with my sister. We've recorded others with Koa. He hasn't allowed them to come forth yet, but we're hoping very soon. But in that Living in Las Vegas podcast, in the comment section, there was a lot of like sprightly, is sprightly a word? There was just a lot of lively conversation in there, a lot of really strong opinions. And I think you can learn a lot from that comment section. I mean, there's some that you could just like really throw out, but it was encouraging to hear from people who have moved to Vegas, who love it. It was also encouraging to hear from people that have made their way back, people that have developed a new love for Hawaii. And recently, Hawaii Business News, I believe, did an article on people moving back to Hawaii and how, they moved away. They were able to kind of see things from a different perspective. They were able to save a little bit more money, and then they've realized how much they love it here and they're coming back. But it also makes me realize, like my sister was saying in her video, that she loves the mainland and she may not ever come back here. And for the last 3 years, I have prayed every single day that she would come back. And I have only now accepted that maybe she's not moving back here. And you know what? It's okay. Hawaii is not for everybody, and not everybody's gonna want to stay, not everybody's gonna get to stay, not everybody's gonna get to move here, but there are other places to love and there are other things to love about other places. So if you're interested in getting involved in that conversation, there's a lot of really good comments there on that video. Number 12, new construction. We've gotten this question often, not necessarily in the comment section, but when clients actually call us. They'll say, I love your videos and I just really love the way you come across. You seem so genuine, blah, blah, blah. And then they'll say, but my only concern is that you only do new construction. And that's false. And The reason that we do a lot of new construction videos is because new construction's exciting, but it's also ever changing. And so we get in there and then we'll release a video and then something else has popped up in that neighborhood or something's changed, and then it causes us to want to go back in there. But at the same time, new construction is something that's near and dear to our hearts. First-time home buyers are near and dear to our hearts, and we know that new construction is a great way to get into the market. Oftentimes because developers are offering discounted interest rates if you use their in-house or preferred lenders. Oftentimes they're offering substantial closing costs. And this is because they can, because of course they've got opportunities for bulk discounts on the mortgages, on materials, and so they're able to pass that on to you as buyers. And so for us, we can't not talk about new construction because it is so beneficial to buyers.
We also just filmed a new video.
We did! We'll have a new construction video coming out. You already uploaded it.
Yeah, it should be awesome.
Awesome. Homelessness. This is something that I think somebody says the word homeless in almost every video that we do. And by the way, so like I said earlier, I am a real estate agent. I'm not necessarily a YouTube, although this is really fun for me and it has allowed me to connect with people that I wouldn't have otherwise connected with. I don't get to spend a lot of time in the comment section. I'll breeze through every now and then. If a video is getting a lot of views, I'll look to see why, but I don't spend a lot of time on a lot of comments, but I do see like, talk about the homeless, or we were just in Hawaii and we noticed that there's a lot of homeless people there. And so today I decided to actually look up some stats on homelessness. And I mean, it's kind of all over the map. Like if you just Google it, like one source will say one thing and another source will say another. So this is actually from US News and World Report, which doesn't have Hawaii or Honolulu even in the top 10 of states or cities that have the highest rates of homelessness. However, from 2023 to January of 2024, it was, our census said that there's about 4,500 people living in a state of homelessness, and it jumped 12% from 2023. On this island, I will say, I feel like you see it more than you would on our neighbor islands. You might see it more than you would see in other cities. We are a small island. It's concentrated primarily in Metro Honolulu. You'll see a lot of homelessness in Waianae. You'll see homelessness in Waimanalo. And that leads me to talking about the Living in Waianae video. I am overwhelmed by the amount of encouraging, positive comments that I got on that video. I was really nervous filming it. I was really nervous when we released it because it is such a special community. It's one of those communities where the people who live there have a lot of pride. It's where my stepdad is from. It's where my brother was living. If you've watched that video, you'll know what I was referring to. And it's also where he passed away, and my brother was homeless. He chose to be homeless. He struggled with alcoholism. We as a family all really tried to help him, and he denied our help. We loved him in the best way that we could, even under those circumstances. But I just want to say thank you to all of our viewers for the encouragement that you gave to me on that video. And I mean, there were a lot of like highly charged comments as well. People from Waianae that were like, stay away from Waianae and don't promote it. And I think that that's really where I want to end this video, is that our intention of doing these videos is to really help people. If you're online and you're Googling living in Hawaii, moving to Hawaii, in my mind, that decision has pretty much already been made, or you're pretty close to coming out here, and you're trying to either justify your decision or you're information gathering. And that's what we hope to do, is to help empower you to make the right decision for you. We're not trying to sell Hawaii. We're not trying to convince you to move here, but we're really just trying to equip you and inform you as best as possible. We are hoping that you will work with us as a result. There is a movement in Hawaii right now where people are trying to help tourists to be educated when they come here. You know, don't touch the sea turtles and, you know, stay far away from the monk seal, especially if she's got a little pup. You know, things about just respecting the environment. And I know some of that commentary and those conversations can come across heated and highly charged, but I was really proud the other day. I was at the beach. My husband and I were doing a staycation at Ko'olina, and we went to Lani Kuhonua, which is a nice little lagoon. There's a mixture of local people as well as tourists, but there were turtles swimming back and forth. And there were a bunch of tourists that were like running up to the turtles. You know, they've got their phones and, you know, I observed and I was like, okay, I get it. You know, like this is your first time to Hawaii and you've never seen this before and it's really exciting. And then there was a local family just kind of like on their surfboard, their stand-up paddleboard, and one of the young girls, in my mind, she was a teenager, she spoke up and she said, hey, don't touch the turtle. And then the guy went like this and she goes, mahalo, thank you. And I was like, yeah, that's the way to do it. Do it with aloha, and that's really why we do what we do, and our hope is that we are informing you with aloha as well. So thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully we'll do another video on some of our funnier comments. We've got some funny ones. Maybe we'll even do some dwellies.
The Dunnies! How can I explain it?
Some awards to people who gave the funniest comment or the comment that had the most spelling errors or the angriest comment. Not that I want you leaving comments with that in mind. Again, we want you to keep it ethical and we want you to stay away from offending people too badly. But I also know that some people feel like they're doing their job. You know, they've got their passion about Hawaii and in their mind, they're writing something thinking that they're protecting this place. So, anyway, I know that that's still gonna happen, but my hope is that the conversations are enlightening and insightful. And my hope is that these videos are enlightening and insightful. And if there's anything Koa or I can do to help you in real estate, whether buying or selling, get in touch with us through the links in the description box, or you can email us at info@dwellhawaii.com.